I've got 7 o'clock. I would like to call to order school board meeting. If we could please stand and pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the superintendent's just out doing something. So maybe what we'll do is we'll hold off on points of pride and look at the approval of the manifest.
I certify that the manifest listed below, totaling $505,456.76, have been reviewed by me and found to be proper charges against the Katukic Valley School District for goods and/or services received and have been properly processed prior to their submittal to the school board.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Thank you. Points of pride, please.
So we have actually several points of pride today. Can everyone hear me? This doesn't actually sound on today. The Pierce School partook in Fire Safety Day on Friday, October 13th. Kindergarten through fourth grade walked to the Bennington Fire Department to learn about fire prevention, and even our Bennington School Board rep, Mike, came for the walk down. A huge thank you goes out to the Bennington Fire Department for presenting to our school, and for taking the time to teach students about fire safety. The third graders at Pierce School, so it's that time again, they have 4 baby turtles they are raising and will later release back into the wild. So that it happens in the third grade there. This is an ongoing project with the Harris Center. It is a highlight of the year when they release those turtles. Fire Prevention Week was informative and fun at GES, and the students were excited to learn, and many were talking about all the things they now know to keep them safe from during a fire. At PES, they also celebrated Fire Prevention Week, and they collaborated with the Peterborough Fire Department, so a huge shout out to all of our fire departments for that. And Tina Perot, who is the first and second grade teacher at Temple Elementary School, was named Outdoor Educator of the Year by the Harris Center. Ms. Perot will be formally honored at the Harris Center's annual meeting on October 22nd. At the high school, the SEL pilot with the School Connect curriculum is going really well, and yesterday students took a student skills survey as part of the pilot. And Chris Heider has won the New Hampshire Council for the Social Studies Teacher of the Year. He will be recognized this Friday, October 20th, at the Carponi Center in Concord during the New Hampshire Council for the Social Studies annual conference. So great news for Chris. And those are the points of pride.
Thank you, Superintendent. Next on our agenda is a place for public comment. We allow the public to address the board, a 2-minute period of time. If you're interested in addressing the board, please give us your name and the town you're from. Is there anyone who would like to speak to the board? Yes, sir. There's a mic right there. Well, we're televised, so I need you to do that, please.
Duration of the schools. I asked Alan this question at our meeting, but I'd like to ask the whole board. The $150,000, I believe, that was paid to the company to do the study, did we vote on that? And if not, where did the money come from? Does the school board keep that much money and just hanging around? And why couldn't a group of local concerned citizens have done that study at no cost to the district? I doubt that company could even drive from Dublin to Greenfield. Maybe you can answer that for me. Thank you.
Thank you. We do not respond at the board. You can either request something for the superintendent or your student, your representative, but this is just for public comment to us. We do not respond at board meetings on public comments, so thank you for being here. Anyone else who would like to speak to the board? All right, seeing none. Oh, excuse me, sure, please.
Hope Taylor, Peterborough. I remember working under you and you were a great principal when I was a sub. Let's go back a ways and talk about why the 5th and 6th grades were originally taken out of elementary schools. If they were still in there, there would be no population problem in the elementary schools. Apparently you don't respond to questions, so where do I put that question to get a response?
Your responses can be directed to the superintendent or to your local representative, and they can respond back to you. But this is just for feedback to the board. It's not a dialogue opportunity.
Okay, and so, one more question?
Mhm.
I not only wanted to know the answer to Mr. Eccleston's question, but why was Prismatic chosen, so far away? Are they the only ones that do this in the country? I don't know. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak to the board? All right, thank you. Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Holly Morales. I'm from Dublin. I was at the Prismatic meeting for Dublin, and I spoke to each Prismatic consultant that was there. And I would just like to let you know that the CEO of Prismatic was there, Dr. Tatia Petro. I'm not too sure how to say her last name. She doesn't like New Hampshire. She openly said that she doesn't like how we have small town meetings. She doesn't like how we vote. And she really wishes that we could just get rid of that so that we could just move forward. And she said that personally to residents and stakeholders that were there at the meeting. And I find that appalling. She is supposed to be there to gather information, but she is putting her opinion out to the residents instead of just gathering information. She's putting what she thinks should happen before she presents a report to the board. And I want everybody to know that because her behavior at that meeting was awful. And I am not the only one. And she said a lot of things that were not true and disrespectful to you, about the residents, and about New Hampshire in general. So I'm guessing that she is not, or this company from North Carolina is not the group to be making decisions for us.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, thank you. Board, if it would be with your permission, I'd like to move reports. I would like to move the student rep and the teacher representation up to follow just under public comment. Anyone have any objections to that? And the rationale being, I'd like them to be able to, the student or the teacher to be able to present and then be able to leave and go home if they would choose not to stay longer. Any objections? Seeing none, okay. So at this point, I know that Lucy can't be here tonight. She's taking a test, so that took priority. But we do have a teacher representative, and Cheryl, if you'd come up and introduce yourself to the board,
Sure.
and I
I'm
thank you
Cheryl.
for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm Cheryl Jesse. I am an occupational therapist in the district and also the president of the CVEA. I wrote this down because I knew I was going to be a little nervous. On behalf of the Conville Education Association, I would like to thank each of you for your support as we move through these trying times in public education. Because of your commitment to our staff, we have just successfully, this afternoon, negotiated a contract proposal that is focused on staff recruitment and retainment. Our association is strong and we are working hard to have a collaborative working relationship with you in a time where working in public education can be very trying. We appreciate the social time we had back in the spring and look forward to having another one in the near future. Staff across the district are reporting how positive a change it is for each building to have its own administrator and that is available throughout the school day. Staff who have participated in the prismatic interviews have been appreciative of the time given and that they are being heard when concerns around staff reduction come up. As is true across the state and the country, the educator shortage is affecting all of us, as is the sub shortage. Staff are stepping up and filling in, which in many cases involves giving up their own planning time. Moving forward, the CVEA will have a rep at the second school board meeting of every month, like tonight. Each month, we've decided to have a different rep from a different building, so that rep can come and share a little bit about their building and then also represent all of us. So thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. And we're glad to have you here and glad you're having your representatives come. It's appreciated. Consent agenda, Superintendent.
If there's nothing about the minutes that need to be changed, then that's acceptance.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent's report at presentation of business.
You can see October is, we are halfway through. We have a policy committee next Tuesday, the 24th, a selectmen's advisory committee on the 26th. Reminding everyone that the first Saturday of November is the initial school budget work session. And if there is anything else that needs to be added in November, you should let myself or Brendan know. The school board requests, I believe I am all, anything that has been requested that I think I owe you, please let me know. Finally, I do just want to let people know that, I know we piloted the Healing Cause S. We have begun to move forward with a second, iteration of that for the, so just so you guys are aware. And then finally, I am going to turn this over to, our lit staff, library. So, you guys could come on up. I will move out of the way.
No. No.
Can you go back a couple?
There we go. There it is. Slide one. Okay. Thank you for having us and for the opportunity to share our collection development practice with you. We're going to begin by just introducing ourselves. My name is Rachel Bowman. I'm one of the librarians at the high school.
My name is Charlotte Brett. I am the school librarian at Francistown Elementary, Hancock Elementary, and Pierce Elementary.
I'm Sarah Hale. I am the librarian and tech integrator at Great Brook School.
I am Ashley Mudrick. I am the second librarian at the high school. And unfortunately, Nicole Murray, who is the librarian at Peterborough Elementary School, couldn't make it tonight.
Hello, I'm Emily Primrose. I'm the librarian at Dublin Consolidated School, at Greenfield Elementary, and also at Temple Elementary.
Hello, I'm Heather Stearns, and I am the librarian at South Meadow School.
All right, so our presentation tonight focuses on how the library supports the goals of the district's strategic plan and how the plan influences the development of our collections. So as a quick agenda, we're just going to go over our strategic plan alignment, our collection development process, and then we'll have a quick question and answer if there are any questions. Okay, so for strategic plan alignment, how does the strategic plan guide our practice? As a district LITS team, which includes our technology integrators, we are not only responsible for developing and maintaining a book collection, but also the digital tools and other resources used to support blended learning. In doing so, we help the district meet the goals of the following focus areas.
All of these focus areas are important and integral to what we do every day. But we wanted to really highlight tonight the collection development policy, IJL, and how it supports the district priority of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility.
Our district policy IJL was updated very recently. The new version was approved in March of 2023. The old version was 10 years old. This policy applies to library materials only, not classroom materials or classroom libraries. All of our district librarians are trained in collection development as part of our professional responsibilities. The mission of the Conval School District is to provide a diverse collection of educational and library materials and services to meet the educational, curricular, informational, recreational, and cultural needs of the school community. This stated mission of the library collection development policy drives what we do when we write lesson plans, when we conduct readers advisory, when we support classroom learning, when we promote family literacy, and most importantly, when we enjoy reading alongside of our students.
The book collection process is dynamic and ongoing. When we're thinking about our collection development, we are thinking about the 5 considerations that you see up on the screen. These are in no particular order besides alphabetical. We are librarians after all. The first is we are looking at the assessment of needs. We're assessing our own individual collections as well as the collection as a whole as a whole. We are looking for areas that might need updated, balanced out, gaps in curriculum that might need to be filled. Secondly, we're prioritizing what we are able to buy within our budget and trying to be as efficient as possible with the funds that we have. Thirdly, we try as much as possible to order books that fit in with curriculums that are happening around the school, looking at what other teachers are doing in their classrooms, what is happening in guidance, in other specials such as PE, music, art. We are considering diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. We want to work to ensure that we have a collection that is diverse and promotes means of access for all our students. This might look like ebooks, audiobooks, books in a foreign language, books in large print. Finally, we're looking at reviews, requests, and recommendations. We consider professional journals, professional websites as we look for reviews, but we are also we also consider student, staff, and community requests and recommendations that are appropriate for our particular age group.
School library collections are carefully curated and thoughtfully inclusive in content and perspectives to support the curricular and developmental needs and interests of students with the goal of inspiring lifelong learners and readers. It is not a responsibility that school librarians take lightly. We are highly invested in curating quality collections that speak to our students and connect them to the world around them. This quote comes from the article, The Art and Science of Collection Development by Courtney Pentland, a high school librarian and a member of the adjunct faculty at the University of Nebraska. In June, Pentland became the president of the American Association of School Librarians.
Part of the science of curating a collection includes looking at professional reviews and book awards and best of lists. We also maintain the existing titles in our collection by auditing, inventorying, and weeding. And by weeding, that is looking at books' physical conditions, the timeliness of information, if we have duplicate copies, or the circulation history of any given title. Finally, the processing, cataloging, and repair is needed to maintain the quality of our collection.
There's also the art of collection development, which really is about the students. Data is very important to us, and we engage with test results. We connect and consult with our teaching colleagues all the time. We are also more and more seeking out options for our students to help them access resources. As Charlotte mentioned, we are expanding the print collections to include digital and audio formats, to name a couple, and sometimes combinations of formats, whatever we can do to help students. Student interests and requests are a great way of interacting with the students and building that great library and the relationships that we have with them for 4 years. And so as we curate a collection with their input, we are feeling good that we have a collection that encourages reading and their own research, their personal research. So we do our very best to bring the world to our students. We build a collection of diverse representation, cultures, experiences, and of course the authors themselves.
We want to ensure that we include a wide variety of viewpoints, experiences, and representations within our collection. And in doing so, it broadens perspectives, enhances critical thinking, fosters a welcome learning environment, and better prepares our students for the real world.
I'll read you this quote. So, quote, books are sometimes windows offering views of worlds that may be real or imagined, familiar or strange. These windows are also sliding glass doors, and readers have only to walk through in imagination to become part of whatever world has been created or recreated by the author. When lighting conditions are just right, however, a window can also be a mirror, end quote. And we just wanted to leave this idea with you in conclusion, to conclude, because this is a very commonly used analogy amongst school librarians. The idea of windows, mirrors, and sliding glass doors comes from Dr. Rudine Sims Bishop, who was a renowned expert on children's literature. And really, it's just expanding this idea that books are mirrors that reflect a person's own experiences, but then also providing windows that you can see into other worlds and other unfamiliar experiences. And we just feel like it's our responsibility to provide both of those things to all of our students. So it's just a nice analogy to kind of understand what it is that we are trying to do. And that's it. Any questions? Any questions? Anyone might have?
Any members? Yes, Tom.
I'm interested in the ebooks that you talked about. Is that a direction that the library as a whole, the Conval libraries are going to be increasing in terms of the number of books and other reading material they're going to be offering through that format?
At this point, what we're doing is really focusing on just providing options for kids and seeing how they respond to them. So we are expanding their access to ebooks through a variety of means, and then we watch to see what they reach for, and and I think it might vary from building to building. I don't want to speak for everyone. I see the kids still, they like a print book, but for some, when they have an ebook and they can expand the font and they can highlight text, and in some cases we're working on having ebooks that have the audio tracking the text, things like that can really help. So sometimes it's a preference, but sometimes it's also an accommodation.
And I would just add to that, it's also a little bit, like at the high school, we've focused most of our ebooks are around our reference collection, because reference collections are very expensive and they go out of date very quickly. You know, the old set of encyclopedias doesn't kind of keep up with today. So, and a lot of publishers aren't making them anymore. So having ebooks that everyone can access at the same time, rather than like the one copy goes out, is another way that we use our ebook collection effectively.
So thank you for coming tonight, and I know our high school has an award-winning library and learning common, but I would love to hear more about how, outside of just books, I know you do a lot of other things at all the different levels, and could you just expand upon some of the other types outside of just books that you're doing with our students, because I know it's pretty significant.
Sure. So I am the elementary librarian at Francistown, Hancock, and Pierce. And one of the things that I in particular find so powerful about being a librarian at the elementary level is we have both our library as a special time, but we also have something that we call library media residency, which is when we work in collaboration with teachers to bring things to classrooms that teachers perhaps could use support on, or simply another perspective, or just a second pair of hands. So talking about the turtles at Pierce, right now I'm working with the third graders at Pierce to become experts on turtles so they can introduce their turtles to their school colleagues. In kindergarten, we're doing weather. We are doing experiments. Today, we dropped things in front of a fan to see if they would blow or not. Rocks don't blow. So those times are, I think, just as powerful as when the kids come for library special. We are also a resource at the elementary level for ebooks, for research sources, for looking at approved technology that and websites that line up with our data protection policies, all those things.
Other questions from board members? Jim?
I a little reluctant to ask this question, but you listen to the news, you watch TV and stuff, and a lot of librarians across the country in the crosshairs. How do you guys feel?
I feel very lucky to be in this district and this part of New Hampshire or the world. We've been really well supported in this district, but we also do read about librarians elsewhere who are really on the front lines of that. So it's we're very proud of what we do, and I think it's been a great conversation to get going in our country, and I think we have a lot to feel positive about.
That's the answer I expected, because I haven't heard anything about you guys being under pressure, and we'd like to know about it if you are. Right? I speak for my colleagues, hopefully, when I say that.
Liz?
Thanks for coming. It's really good to hear from you guys. I'm wondering, when it comes to the library environment, how do you think about inspiration and flow and setup and structure of the actual spaces, and does it matter?
So at least at the high school level, again, to kind of echo what Sarah said, we have been so supported by not only our building administration, but the SAU and the school board as well. So at least at the high school level, when Rachel and I started about 10 years ago, I don't know if any of you have been in the space, but had really tall bookshelves, really heavy tables, really heavy chairs, and it really wasn't flexible or adaptable in the way that we would like a learning commons to be. I think the whole idea behind it is anybody can walk into that space and make it whatever they need to be in that moment. And so we now have, at the high school at least, we have a lot of comfy furniture that our kids absolutely love. They're not great at putting it back sometimes, but the point is that they're moving it, they're making themselves comfortable. We have beanbag chairs. We were able to get lower mobile shelving so we can move it in whatever way we need. We were also able to purchase a really nice screen that comes down from the ceiling, because our space is used frequently in different district meetings, PD meetings, after school meetings. So I feel like we recognized that there was a need, and we pushed for it, but we've also had so much support behind us, and we've been able to make kind of incremental changes. And I really do think it's a place that the kids like to be, and the teachers.
Awesome, thank you. And how does that translate for the middle schools and the elementary schools?
I would also say that I feel the middle schools are fairly supported. I was just this year able to sort of rearrange to better accommodate that learning commons model, which as a team we discuss frequently, and are, as librarians, are well versed in what sort of makes up a good library environment. I also was able to get feedback from our 8th graders last year as they were leaving with how they would like to see a space, and they visited the high school, and I used that feedback to sort of rearrange how the library looks today, and it does meet a similar standard.
And I'll add to that the library also presents a lot of opportunities to be just a space in the building that is unlike the classroom. And so we can create whatever we need to create. And very often it is sort of a calm space, because a lot of our students need that. And a pleasant place to come. And I know that's the feedback I've gotten from so many of our students, that they just love to be in the space. And so So that's what's in my mind when I'm designing a space. I'm also making sure that, down to the practical things, that a wheelchair could get everywhere in that library. I push a table around in among the stacks so that, because it's about the same width. And so all of these things are constantly on our mind. And I'm as a librarian, I'm always arranging that physical space to keep the kids interested in what's in there and to help them discover what's in the library.
Other questions? So, lots of years dealing with librarians, and they're the joy in the building. I particularly loved when our librarian reached out to authors and brought them to the school, and kids could see, oh, really, real people write these books. It was really insightful. So I thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And if you ever come up with a solution on how to get kids to put the things back, make us all aware of it, because we'll make a lot of money off that. So thank you again. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Budget and property, Jim.
So we had a meeting tonight and we spent most of the time talking about information we want to put together for you for the budget meeting in a couple weeks. The only new thing we really talked about was Tim Grassi is going to work on updating our use of facilities policy. In other words, how different organizations in the public use our facilities, what they pay for them and all that stuff. Target date is to have something to draft to that in January. I think it's been 10, 12 years since that was updated, so we're going to be doing that. And Cheryl let the cat out of the bag, but we'll be talking about what she bought the cat during non-public, okay?
Expense and encumbrance.
You'll see the reports for September in your packet. I know we did one last meeting, but that was a little bit late, but this is for September. Most of the funds in regards to the parking lot at the high school have been replenished. We still have about another 200,000 coming in for that, which is really one of the only funds that are overspent right now. But everything else looks good. Cash flow is good. Everything seems to be flowing nicely so far this year.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions, thank you. Superintendent.
So I'm just, can we clarify whether or not you're accepting the encumbrances that are in the report as part of that motion? Jim says yes. So.
Yes, and I believe that Jim says has reported, correct? Yes. Okay, does that do it? Okay.
Yeah, as long as that was the intent of the motion.
Yep.
Thank you.
Superintendent, Antrim Elementary School staffing justification request.
In your packet is a justification to add a teacher at Antrim Elementary School. We have had a significant uptick in enrollment in grade 4 at, grade 3. There are 24 students in grade 3. That would be what, yeah. So I would have to touch base with Beth about the numbers, but there are presently 24, and we are anticipating a 25th student at AES. And so we are asking to be able to add a teacher.
Catherine?
I was wondering, I think you just acknowledged that maybe the chart, but I was trying to get it to add up. Perhaps someone could just walk me through, because I'm not, for some reason, able to follow it at the moment. and I
Right,
just
so
wanna
there's
make sure.
21 students in 2 classrooms at kindergarten. Again, the 8 students, there are 21 students in grade 1 in 2 classrooms.
Wait. Yeah,
That I think it was a typo, and it's a mistake in the chart. So,
okay, so can we just go down the
Yep,
first
that's what
column then? And then we'll
Yep.
do the second? So,
so there are 21 students in 2 classrooms in kindergarten. There are 21 students in grade 1,
got it.
and they're made up into 2 classrooms. There are 16 students in grade 2, and they are in 1 classroom. There are now 24 students in grade 3 in 1 classroom, and there are 25 students in 2 classrooms in grade 4.
And then,
So we're asking to add a teacher at that grade 3, breaking it into 2 classrooms, which will ultimately be 12 and 13, because we know we have a new registration coming this week.
and just a follow-up?
Catherine, sure.
So, looking across for grade 2, just to be clear, 16 students, and then 14 of them are in the classroom, or 16?
No, there's 16 students. Thank you.
Okay, I'm
Yep.
just making sure I'm understanding what's happening.
Yep.
Got it.
Dan?
So there are some of both.
Jim?
Typically, when we put the budget together, you've got a couple of slots. I mean, what's the impact?
No,
of the
we already
budget?
used, we already used
That's
the teacher. This is an additional teacher.
So where's the money gonna come from?
So we will have to go through the budget. Right now, where it will come from salaries for unfilled positions. That will be the immediate place. Whether we'll have to do line adjustments at the end of the year will remain to be seen if we can find 2.75 math teachers.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Yes, Greg.
The first question is, knowing our hiring issues up till now, how many open positions do we currently have, not including this proposed position?
Most of our open positions are right now at the high school, outside para positions, and we have about 7 teaching positions that are currently open. We have 2.75 math positions, 1 science position, and 3 CTE positions.
And has there been talk or looking at combination of grades to make? the
No, there
numbers
has
work?
not. That would be inconsistent with the decision the board made earlier in the summer to add a teacher at Peterborough Elementary School to lower the class size to, I think it was 13 in each classroom. Actually, it might have been smaller than that.
Other questions? Seeing none, could I have a motion to approve the additional staffing at AES? I have a motion. Could I have a second? It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, further questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Any abstentions? 1 abstention. Thank you, Ed. Please, someone who hasn't been up first. Just a moment. If there's someone who hasn't been up, thank you. Your name and your town, please.
Kimberly Markham, Dublin. I wanted to say thank you for all that you're continuing to do to support our students and families in the school district. And with bringing in Prismatic to do everything that you're doing, looking at the way the district is configured, I think there are some interesting ideas, and I appreciate some new ways of looking at things. But I found at the meeting in Dublin a couple weeks ago that when I got there, going around to the different stations, some of the questions seemed a little bit tricky and sometimes almost a little loaded, like they were leading people to make hard decisions. So it just didn't feel very good going into that meeting and feeling like there weren't great options to sometimes choose for some of the questions that were being answered. I do appreciate that you're trying to look at a difficult situation and continue to support our families and our kids and their learning. But some of it just didn't feel great as a member of the town coming in to look at that. So thank you.
Anyone else? All right, seeing no one else, we need to go into non-public. I didn't see any hands. Well, I asked, is there anyone else? Oh, no. I wanted someone who hadn't had the opportunity to speak first. No, that's fine, but I wanted to give somebody who hadn't had an opportunity to speak first.
That is correct. Oops, sorry, I'm not supposed to.
Right. Certainly. Thank you. I think you'll find the questions will be answered and all decisions had to be made by the voters. But the questions you're looking for are there. You can look at board minutes, board agendas, and so hopefully that'll be helpful to you. Right. Could I have a motion to go into non-public, please? Moved and seconded. Bill. Thank you.